Okay, this is me like 3 days into the future because I forgot to add like a warning beforehand. But it's best if you like read like the actual like writing for this chapter instead of just watching this summary video. If because this video is just a summary, you're missing out like a lot of details if you don't read the actual document. You don't have to. I'm just saying you'll be missing out a bit if you only watch this. Okay, that's it. Okay, right off the bat, I'm gonna tell you I'm not like reading the document I wrote while recording this. I'm just like doing it from memory and then trying to only retell like the more important parts and skip over like filler or lesser important parts. So like I don't think I ever set a date. I don't remember the years. Okay, Afton has Michael and the crying child, that's his legal name, and Elizabeth. Elizabeth is the youngest and crying child's the middle child, okay? I don't care what everyone else says. That's how I made it. I think Elizabeth was born like 1977, 1978. The Emily twins are born May 13th, 1978. Before the twins were born, Henry Emily meets this girl named Dorothy. They met in like 71 at like some kind of like nerd computer convention. They get married in 78 and then have the twins. Okay, like when she's like 4 or 5, I don't remember. Elizabeth goes to Circus Baby. Circus Baby isn't like, she's like in her dad's like garage or storage workplace or whatever, and she gets demolished. And Afton's like, God, he's not upset that his daughter is dead. He's upset because the animatronic he made is like all messed up, dead child in it. So Henry Emily's like, oh, I'm so sorry your kid died, man. Oh, that sucks. And Afton is weird as usual. So Emily like just tries to give him like space or whatever because he thinks like Afton just has like a weird way of grieving and just wants space or whatever, you know. Okay, I think I gotta introduce Scott now. Scott, I don't like Scott, I'm gonna be honest. Scott lives with his parents. He's like in his 20s. He lives with his parents. They're like, get a job, you goddamn jobless bum. No, they love him, but they're homophobic, and he's gay. They don't know he's gay, but he's gay. He's been secretly seeing a guy named Colin, and eventually his mom finds out that he's like been going behind her back and like seeing a guy. Well, she only like speculated after like hearing about like someone who saw Scott on a date with Colin in public, and Scott and his mom get like in an argument, and he's like, fine, I'm gay. and then he like storms out with all his stuff, and then like goes to live with Colin. They're happy for a while, but like Scott still is unemployed, and Colin's kind of annoyed that Scott's like kind of leeching off of his money. So he's like, okay, Scott, I love you, but you gotta get a job, man. And Scott's like, I know. And then Colin has the priority of like, oh, we have a friend of a friend who, oh, wait, fuck, god damn it, wait. Okay, sorry, I'm just remembered. In 1980, okay, this Henry Emily, he's fucking around. He's like testing out like a prototype Springlock Fredbear head or something. And he like puts on the Springlock head and it turns on. He gets like, you know, he gets like the Springlocks all up in his face, like especially like in his mouth area, like, and he like panics, like he's like all alone in like the parts of service area, so he just like tears it off into panic, and it hurts like hell. And his like face is like all torn up, and even after like he goes to the hospital, like gets patched up, there's still like major scarring. So like obviously, since his face is like torn all the way up, like imagine like a reverse bear trap, but like a little less severe. Okay, so he's like hospitalized. He can't really work because like his face like in cartoons, like his face is like wrapped in bandages. So his wife Dottie has to like fill in his role at Fredbear's while he's like hospitalized. And I forgot daycares existed, so this is where this plot point comes in. Okay, they need someone to watch their 2-year-old twins, Sammy and Charlie. So this is where Scott and Colin come in. So Colin's like, oh, Scott, I have a friend of a friend who has like these kids who need to be watched. I remember you have like experience babysitting kids when you're like 17 or something. Okay, so skip over filler. Scott becomes like the babysitter, even though he doesn't have experience watching over like toddlers. He watched like 10-year-olds when he was like 17. Very different. Henry gets better, but like babysitting doesn't pay well. So Scott's like, man, I wish I had like like an actual job so I could like not like rely on my boyfriend still for a lot of the stuff I buy or whatever. And Henry's like, oh, why didn't you just say so? You could just work at Fredbear's Family Diner. I own that place with my buddy who would never do anything wrong ever. Okay, there's this new character I forgot to introduce earlier, but better late than never. There's this guy named Martin, okay? He wants to... this is really silly. He wants to be like a magician or just, I guess, like, in general, a performer, in the future. Like, in the performance industry, He works, like, part-time at, like, I forgot, it's like a waiter or something at, like, a restaurant. And then he works, also at Fredbear's Family Diner. And he's one of, like, the backup performers in case, like, Afton or Emily are, like, sick or, like, just aren't available for, like, performing in one of the Shiftlock suits. And he, in particular, likes the Bonbon costume because he likes rabbits and he thinks Bonbon is really cute. And he gets along well with Afton because of the shared interest in Bonbon and rabbits. Afton like kind of like rants about like Remnant and like his his like weird science stuff, Martin doesn't really understand. He thinks Afton's kind of just like making shit up. I don't know. He's like, oh, this Afton guy is pretty cool. Like he still likes Emily, just not as much. Okay. Important note, Martin has braces because he has like bunny teeth. That's important later. Okay, so now Fredbear has two employees besides Afton and Emily. This is such a successful diner, guys. I'm being sarcastic. And then I think the bite of 83 happens. I think Scott's like taking a break outside. Martin is the one that has to clean up like the Fredbear head and stuff after like police come or whatever. I don't know. The bullies. There's like Michael, of course, and then the bunny bully is Noah. Okay, yeah, that Noah, the bunny one. His sister is the Chico bully. Her name is Lassie. The Freddy bully is also there. He doesn't have a name. I'm sorry. Emily's like freaking out over, like a child dying on the premises of the diner. So he like he's being really stupid. He tries to bribe the bullies into like staying quiet and like not telling like the police that they were involved or whatever, or like that was a murder, and just like insist that was like an accident. I guess. And the bribe was like, I'll give you like free stuff as long as you're under 18. Okay, just don't tell anyone. Afton is really pissed because, God damn it, Michael, you ruined my reputation. Now everyone's just gonna pity me, not actually respect me. And then Afton sees that like, well, Henry and Emily has like this happy family, like like he has his wife, his kids are alive. They're like, people actually like respect Henry. He's like, I'm gonna ruin this. I'm gonna ruin his life because I'm so goddamn mad and jealous. Okay, so so cut to May 13th, 1983. Okay, I think you can tell where this is going. It's the Emily twins' 5th birthday party, I think. The bullies I talked about earlier, like the mask bullies, I think they're the ones that lock Charlie out as like an evil cruel prank. Oh my god, tongue twister. She gets locked out, and conveniently, no, not conveniently, coincidentally, Afton is like taking a drive to like clear his mind or something because he's so goddamn mad. He sees Charlie and like outside, and he's like, oh, perfect opportunity, and then he shanks her, drives away. Like after after a while, Henry realizes Charlie isn't anywhere to be seen at like her own birthday party, so he like looks around and like asks Dottie and Scott to like help look. Like best case scenario, she's just really good at playing hide and seek. Worst case scenario, she's like missing or like got kidnapped or something. So they're like looking for her, and Henry goes outside, and and why am I laughing? Oh my god! And he sees her. It's like ah. So he cradles her body. He's like, oh, really sad. And then he goes back inside, and okay, Charlie got shanked. Okay, so he's got like blood all over him now. When he goes back inside, he's like, okay, guys, party over. My daughter's dead. call the police or something. And then Charlie's dead, and they have a funeral. Oh god, I forgot to mention this. Afton just like skipped out on Charlie's party because he's being like distant and everything. Henry's like, okay, that's kind of weird, but like I guess you have your reasons because your son died kind of recently. But like for Charlie's funeral, Afton skips out again, even though he said he'd be there, I think. And Henry's like, okay, this guy's being weird now, I think. So Henry starts thinking, well, William's been acting weird lately. It's been like avoiding me, and my daughter has like been extra avoiding me since my daughter died. I think he might have something to do with it. I think he might have killed my daughter, honestly. There's also the fact that like he started drinking a lot, and then Dottie got mad because he started like neglecting Sammy, because Sammy and Charlie like basically look identical minus the fact that they're like opposite genders. So like, okay, you gotta imagine being in Henry's shoes. Like imagine your daughter dies, and then her twin brother, who looks like almost exactly like her, you have to see his face every day. You have to see like basically your dead daughter's face every day as like a reminder of what you lost. Okay, I'd be a bit upset too. Not not defending him neglecting Sammy. That's messed up. Okay, so Dottie's like, if you don't get your act together, I'm genuinely going to leave you and take Sammy. I'm not kidding. If you don't get better right now. Guys, I forgot to mention something again. So I'm like skipping back for a second. Okay. Like Colin and Scott, Scott like kind of gets mad at Colin because Colin wants to be like a journalist or something. I forgot. And he's like really passionate in that career, but Scott is kind of jealous because he feels like Colin is like starting to pay more attention to his future career than Scott, even after like all he's been through to keep the relationship alive. So he like freaks out and gets really mad and like gets into an argument. I think he starts the argument, and then he just like storms out. Like he like breaks things off and he storms out, and he kind of like has to sleep outside for the night because he doesn't really have anywhere to live anymore. He's like, oh wait, the Emilys, I know them. And then they let him live in their guest room until he can like get his own place, which is never. Okay, anyways, Henry like stops drinking for like a while, kind of, and then he relapses, and Dorothy's like, nope, no, I'm out of here. I'm keeping my promise. Goodbye. I'm taking Sammy. And like obviously Henry like gets worse because he lost his daughter, and then he lost like the rest of his family. So now he's just there with Scott. he starts. You know that meme of like Lois like trauma dumping to Stewie. That's like Henry with Scott for like a while after Dorothy leaves him. There's like one night where Scott and Henry like go out to a diner that Henry and Dorothy used to go to for like dates, and Scott just let Henry like talk about, like, he just let Henry vent basically, so he could like stop like holding stuff in or whatever. I don't know, he's been venting a lot. Just let him talk so he could like feel a little better at least, you know. And I go home to like watch a movie or something. Okay, listen, this part that I'm going to describe, it has like a deeper meaning, okay? It's not just randomly added. It has like a deeper meaning that I wrote like an entire small writing for, okay? But then, okay, like when they get home and like they turn on the movie, like after a while, they just like impulsively make out for a brief moment, okay? Like they stop immediately after like a great like I don't really like that actually. Okay. Alright, so I forgot I'm forgetting a lot of things. When Charlie died, you know, like the whole security puppet thing, you know, like the puppet like going outside or to like I don't know, like cover her or something, I guess, when she's like out dead in the alley in the rain. Like Henry finds Charlie. He does not give two cares about the puppet being outside, okay? But like later, like after all of that, he starts like reworking the marionette, because like the marionette was like up against Charlie's body, so like it has blood all over it, okay? So he's like reworking the marionette, maybe like to more resemble Charlie, you know, kind of like a tribute to her, basically. Like making the marionette like have ribbons attached to its head, like how Charlie used to wear like ribbons in her hair, and make the marionette like wear like the shoes ballerinas wear, because Charlie wanted to be a ballerina. So he's working on the marionette one night after hours in Fredbear's Family Diner, and like, I think it was either like in the parts of the service or like in his office. I think it might have been parts of the service. Scott is also there. He's like hanging up like the, you know, like the papers you see up in like the walls in the FNaF rooms, cameras. That's what he does. He puts up like drawings. Martine is also there. He likes to practice like doing like tricks and stuff in the bonbon suit. It's really not safe, but he really likes the bonbon suit, not in a weird way. Okay, he's not Dave. Okay. Scott usually like watches Martine, you know, so it's about like just doing shit alone, you know. But he's not watching Martine that night because he's like busy doing the drawings on the wall thing. And if he didn't do it that night, he probably would have forgotten to do it, and then like the walls would have been naked, you know. Okay, so Henry's working on reworking the puppet animatronic. He's been drinking a bit. He hears like shuffling coming from the like dressing room where Martine's practicing, and he thinks that it's Afton like coming inside for whatever reason. He doesn't really know. And he gets really mad because, remember, he thinks Afton killed Charlie, and he really loved Charlie, and so he goes over. He sees the bonbon suit like moving around when he gets to the dressing room, and he's really mad. He starts like yelling, being like, "Oh, I know what you did, you goddamn asshole! I hate you on what you did. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you." He's in his mind. He doesn't actually want to kill Afton. He's just speaking his mind, okay? But the thing is, Martine, remember how he used braces? His braces got stuck in like the spring locks, like near the mouth area when he's performing. He's like struggling to unhook them, he knows that the Springlock suits are dangerous, but he doesn't know how dangerous, okay? And he doesn't want to find out tonight. So he can't really speak because he's scared he might, like, trigger the Springlocks, okay? So he's trying to, like, signal to Henry, like, help, help me, you know Springlocks better than me, please help me. Henry doesn't pick up on these, like, signals, though. He doesn't understand, like, Martine, like, playing charades. So he thinks Martine, okay, remember, he thinks Martine's Afton, okay? He thinks this is Afton, like, just, like, being an asshole and, like, not talking to him and just, like, making, like, weird poses or whatever. And thinks he's, like, teasing him. So he gets even more mad and just, like, goes over, like, pushes over the Bonbon suit. And that triggers his Springlocks, and he basically Springlocks Martine. He's like, like, after, like, a few minutes, he's like, god damn it, I just killed my friend. Again, assuming this is Afton. You know that pose of, like, Ivan the Terrible and his son or whatever? That's like the pose he does, where he holds the Bonbon suit under the assumption he just killed his friend. Okay. So his thinking isn't the best right now, so he just, like, he's got blood all over himself, so he washes, like, the blood off himself, and then, like, he puts on, like, spare clothes from the dressing room locker or whatever, I don't know. And he just, like, pretends nothing happened, and goes back to working the marionette. Scott, like, in a hallway across or something, I don't know, hears like, Martine, like, screaming or something, because the Springlocks hurt a lot. So he goes over, he sees Martine's very bloody and not good body, or I guess, like, you know, the Bonbon suit, you know what I mean. He's like, he assumes that Martine just, like, tripped and fell, and it's not, like, it was, like, a complete accident. So he goes over to Henry, he's like, I think Martine's dying, we had to call someone. And then he looks down and sees there's, like, some blood on Henry's shoes. And he's like, uh-oh. And then Henry, like, basically, like, blackmails Scott into staying quiet. Because if Scott tattles on Henry, then, you know, Scott doesn't really have a place to live anymore. So Scott tells on Henry that he's going to be homeless. And I'm pretty sure Fredbear's would get shut down too. So then he'd also be out of a job. So he basically lose everything if he tells on Henry. So Scott has to stay quiet. He doesn't want to help Henry, like, deal with the crime scene, because Henry's like, okay, we gotta hide the body or whatever. He doesn't want to do that, but given his circumstances, he feels like he has to, okay? So they hide Martine's body in I think it was like a locker, like a closet wardrobe thing or whatever that people rarely ever use. Like, it's like an untouched wardrobe in the back of the room. They, like, hide his body in there. I don't know how they deal with, like, the smell of a dead body. I don't know. And basically their plan is, if anyone questions where the Bonbon suit went, they just say, like, probably got like stolen or something, and they'd say that, like, Martine just, like, randomly quit and, like, cut contact with everyone or something, because he did that with his parents, like, his family before. So, like, what are the odds he'd do it again? And of course Afton buys that story. And then, you know, when they're done, like, hiding the body, like, they like, Scott washes the blood off too, and then Henry offers him a cigarette. Scott doesn't like smoking. He hates the smell, but he still takes one. This is actually symbolism, guys, for the fact that Scott does things he doesn't want to for Henry. Not because he wants to, but because he feels forced to, or whatever. Like he came to the conclusion that Henry just, like, killed a guy. I think he'd be a bit afraid to deny doing anything for him, like, even as something as simple as taking a cigarette. And then stuff happens, you know, like the missing children's incident. I don't really care about that. Fredbear's gets shut down, and then, okay, this is where we come to Shiftlock, okay? Henry has, like, the bright idea, because he loved Fredbear's Family Diner, okay, but, you know, with, like, all the, like, deaths linked to it and stuff, like, and it, you know, shut down, I can't keep running. He wants a new pizzeria, so he comes up with Junior's, okay, but he feels like if he opens up Junior's under his name, Henry Emily, then people will be like, oh, that's the guy with the dead daughter who ran the place with all the dead kids and stuff, so, you know. So it's like, well, what if I just go by Mr. E? Because his surname is Emily, so, you know, like, Mr. Emily, Mr. E. He's technically not lying about his identity. It's just like a alias, okay? It's technically still him, just under a different font. And I'm gonna briefly introduce Jamie and Butter. Basically, Jamie likes horror movies specifically, because of, like, the art of, like, practical effects and stuff. Like, they think a lot of the art that goes into horror movies is, like, really fascinating. So they especially, like, Little Shop of Horrors, and they also, like, develop an interest in, like, plants and, like, space and, like, stars and stuff because of its ties to Little Shop of Horrors. And they want to, like, be one of the people who, like, works on, like, practical effects and, like, puppets and stuff for horror, like, big horror movies, okay? And they think that, like, oh, if I go to a place with, like, really advanced robots, maybe I could learn a thing or two about handling, you know, like, big robot puppet things they use in, like, movies sometimes. And then Butter, she used to work at this, like, animatronic restaurant place called Dallas's Doghouse. It's a Western-themed restaurant with, like, dog characters, or, like, canine characters. Like, the main character is this dog named Dallas, as you can probably infer. The animatronics kind of went haywire and, like, tried to kill her. So she's deathly afraid of animatronics, like, lifelike animatronics and, like, dogs for that reason. And she goes to Junior's because she thinks, like, oh, well, if I just, like, stick around with animatronics advertised to be, like, super kid-friendly, you know, like, wouldn't hurt a fly, maybe I could get over my fear, you know, like, exposure therapy or something, I don't know. Well, like, obviously that plan's not gonna work out because this is Five Nights at Freddy's, but, you know. Okay, I completely forgot to talk about Red Guy and RWQ. Okay, so you know how, like, Martin, like, got spring locked and stuff? Okay, so, you know how, you know Agony and Five Nights at Freddy's, right? Like, big sad or big mad makes thing haunted, right? Or whatever, in simple terms, I think. Martin is really upset at he sees that, like, Henry and Scott are in front of him when he's, like, literally dying, like, bleeding out and stuff. He thinks that Henry and Scott were planning to kill him. Okay, so he's, like, really sad because he feels betrayed, but he's really mad because, like, what the hell? I didn't even do anything, okay? And, like, there's, like, such, like, a instability right when he's dying that, like, his, like, spirit, like, splits into two. The Red Guy and RWQ. Like, RWQ represents, like, the angry side. Like, it's, like, made of, like, it's, like, a spiteful entity, basically. Red Guy is just sad. Red Guy more closely resembles Martin than RWQ later on. But Red Guy, you know, is, like, sad and, like, kind of mourns the life he had and would have lived. And he doesn't really exist in the physical world, I guess, because he's, like, more of a spirit than RWQ. So he, like, goes and hides in the Foxy Go 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 arcade machine. He, like, hides in, like these, like, arcade machines, I guess, are just, like, a portal to, like, for, like, spirit worlds. I don't know, a computation of Freddy's. He goes, like, to a really deep level that's hard for people to go into. Not impossible, it's just hard. It's, like, you know, like, the old man consequences level. That's like the place he's in. He's not exactly old man consequences because he's not an old man. He's like 25, but like, you know, still. And RWQ, it's like gross and slimy. It's like a ghost thing, and it's like super mad that Henry and Scott, it assumes, killed Martine. So it's like, so goddamn mad. I'm gonna do anything in my power to make their lives absolutely terrible, and basically just like plans to like haunt them. I don't think it can kill them because it can't touch people, but you know. And when Juniors is like opened, a lot of the stuff from Fredbear's was shoved into like a secret like back room or like storage room, and the closet wardrobe thing that Martine's body was in is inside of said back room. So that's how RWQ is in Juniors and not just like stuck in like the abandoned Fredbear's building. Okay, I think that might be it. Okay,